Benji, Dad wants to talk to you.
You're on for Wednesday, right? Same spot. It was so successful last night. It was a lot of fun, hopefully. What time did we end up starting?
Do you want some colorful veggies?
Wait, are we like in the middle of action here, or should we have? I don't care about that. I'm worried about seating. Are these for clergy or are these for? Are people sitting here? Congregants or should I ditch them?
Maybe
Or?
move it a little if you don't want them to
Yeah.
sit next to you.
Yeah.
Benji sits here. Dad, how about Benji sits here? Benji, come sit next to Daddy. Benji.
Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, ממלך מלכי המלכים, קדוש ברוך הוא. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, ממלך מלכי המלכים, קדוש ברוך הוא. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, ממלך מלכי המלכים, קדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם שלום, מלכי שלום, מלכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי השלום, מלכי עליון. הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברוך הוא. שבת שלום.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to our Orden Friday Night Live. We're so happy to have you. We would love for everyone to stretch a little, get to know each other. So throwing out 2 questions, and feel free to turn around to the people in front of you, behind you, next to you. Feel free to get up and go across the room. 2 questions. One is, what's something joyful that happened this week? Something joyful. And just because I asked my 10-year-old, Annie, I said, what question should we ask? She said, tell them to share what kind of music they like. Okay? So what's something joyful and what kind of music do you like? Okay, so stand up. Stand up. You have to kind of stretch and get out of your comfort zone. I know it's maybe you found a good seat that you like, but stretch. Go find someone that you don't know. You don't know. We're building a Shabbat community. Something joyful and your favorite music. Okay, why don't we come back together? Come back together, take a seat.
So I need more space. Both of you. Way more space. Like, yeah, that's remove it. You're awesome, dude. And I'll look at it after. But right now,
Okay, we need your help. First of all, everybody, take a look. Raise your hand if it's your first time at Friday Night Live. Take a look, first time at Friday Night Live. Okay, now we need your help again. Who's willing to share whomever they learned, whatever you learned about maybe someone new, their joyful moment of the week? Sasha, you want to share your joyful moment of, or so?
Can I say mine?
Okay.
Well,
Here, Sasha, go ahead.
so first of all, me and my brother here got into our dream school, the Willows.
you gotta back up. You do that. Go stand over there.
Okay. And the second thing is Danielle. Sure, it was your mom's birthday this week. That's what I learned.
Okay, who else? Other joyful moments or maybe some surprising music tastes? Joyful moments. Sam. I've got my planted people.
Hello, Rabbi. I don't know if it's a joyful moment, but I think I have a better question than what type of music do you like? Because everybody says, "Oh, I like all kinds of music." Ask them what their favorite artist is. Might be a better
Who's your
icebreaker.
favorite
Well, it depends on what type. Classical music or Jean-Pierre Rampal, probably.
Who else? Other people who are just nice to me. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Happy to be here. My joyous moment of the week is we have a 1-year-old who is, I'm going to do what you did. A little better? Sorry. I have to learn. Our joyous moment, for sure, I think, at least me, for sure, we have a 1-year-old who's walking around the whole house, and we get to chase him everywhere, and it's a lot of fun. So we're enjoying that.
Love it. Who else? Maybe someone new you met, a nice story you heard. Sarah, you want to go for it? Aww. Okay, so Laura just got married a couple weeks ago and got her ketubah frame. So mazel tov to Laura. Hold on to your joyful moments.
mice in the building. Anybody heard this one? One person. And she's a rabbi. And we were in school together. You're married. Here we go. There was a problem with the pastor and the rabbi in the church and the synagogue both had mice and did not know what to do with it. And the pastor said, Rabbi, I have a good solution, but it usually doesn't work. I put mouse traps in and put the cheese, and they're gone, but a week later, of course, mice are back. The rabbi said, Pastor, I know that's a great solution, but I have something better. See, when the mice come in, I give them a talit and a kippah. I give them a bar mitzvah and a bat mitzvah, and they never come back again. Very sad. What I love about tonight, and what we're doing here, and what Brianna has really started to grow at Friday Night Live, and Orden Family Friday Night Live, is that we don't give you a talit and a kippah and you leave, but every month, more people are coming. We're setting up more chairs. And we're kicking you out because you're staying too late. So we should continue to have that problem. And we need more chairs. And we need more joy. And we need more time together. And we need more food in this month of Adar.
Page 42. Amen. Amen, Rabbi. Lecha Dodi Likat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו לתפארת ולתהילה אחד אורי לקראת קלה לקראת שבת לכו ונחה כי מקום הברכה ראשני קדם נעשוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך אדוני לקראת קלה Rise, face the door. בואי ושעת עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי כלה בואי כלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בני שבת
remain standing. Page 59, the call to prayer, the Baruch Hu, page 59.
ברכו את
Can you use mine?
Does this work? Okay. So it's my pleasure to introduce Danielle Robay, who's our guest speaker tonight. And in my introduction, instead of reading her bio, I'm just going to tell a short story about how I reached out to Danielle. So Danielle is not only beautiful inside and out, but she's brilliant, and she is on social media, and she looks gorgeous and speaks beautifully, and is a TV host and journalist and creator of the podcast Pretty Smart. And I was like, I don't know, I'll just email her and see if she wants to come to Friday Night Live, no big deal. And within 30 minutes, Danielle wrote back and was like, yes, I am there. I love being Jewish. I love Sinai Temple. And here she is tonight to talk to all of us and impart her wisdom, particularly, I hope, about the game that she's created, which we'll have a chance to sort of delve in deeper tonight at dinner afterwards, if you're joining us for dinner. And with that, I turn it over to the beautiful, lovely, talented, smart Danielle Robay.
Should I go over there? I've never spoken in the round. What do you think? I'll go this way. So nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me. I'm from Chicago and not from LA, so any chance I get to connect with the Jewish community here really means a lot to me, so thank you. Okay, so what do you think is the most common complaint after any first date, first meeting, or first interview? Any guesses? Sasha?
No,
How about after a first date?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, Harvard Business Review did a study, and the number one complaint is, I wish they had asked me more questions. That was good timing. Excuse me? I'm not sure if that was a question. Yeah. So this is our first meeting, so here's my question for you. What makes you feel truly cared for, really loved? Is it when someone cooks you a meal, sends you a song that makes them think of you? There are a lot of different ways to give and receive love in our relationships. For me, I feel overwhelming care when somebody asks me a really great question. When someone asks a question, it feels welcoming to me. It says, this is a place where you're invited. It also signals that they're present. They'd rather be here with me in this moment than with anybody else. Questions are my love language. So much so I made a career out of it. As a journalist, asking meaningful questions is what I do. I've interviewed Hollywood's biggest names, Fortune 500 CEOs, politicians, tech entrepreneurs, thought leaders, gaining immeasurable wisdom and insight along the way. I've studied the art of conversation for over a decade, and there's only one thing I truly know for sure. The most interesting thing is to be interested. I want to sort of backtrack by telling you a quick story because there was a moment that fundamentally changed my perspective and the way that I live and love and work. I'm originally from Chicago, and if I had a little bit longer, I would tell you how I moved here when I was 22. I lived in a garage not far from here, like a real garage, not a back house. I had $8,000 in my bank account, and I did a ton of crazy things to get interviews and jobs, and I spent hours at breakfast with Larry King. But for the sake of time, I'm going to fast forward to this moment. I had worked tirelessly, nights, weekends, lots of sacrifice that I'm sure a lot of you in this room know well. I wanted to be the millennial Barbara Walters. So years went by, and eventually I had a small foothold in the broadcast industry, which was a world I desperately wanted to be a part of and make my mark on. And I got a call from a network I had always wanted to work for. Several interviews later, they hired me. I was the youngest person they ever hired, and I thought, this is it. This is why I moved to LA. This is why I sacrificed all those long nights and weekends. It was not it. I was miserable. I broke out into hives. I would cry in the bathroom at lunch. And after just 4 months, I quit. I was unemployed, a bit depressed, living off my credit cards, and my boyfriend dumped me. So I threw myself a little pity party, and then I decided I was going to make use of this time. I heard someone say, everyone wants to meet Oprah or Michael Jordan, but if you meet them, what are you going to say? It's a good point, right? So I wrote down a list of dream interviews and a corresponding list of about 800 questions. One day I looked at the list and I realized I asked people questions for a living, and I never had asked myself one question. I thought, I'm unemployed. I have time. Let's try this out. So I asked about 5 or 6 a day, and by the end of 8 months, I was a different girl. I knew myself better. I was more interesting at dinner. I was more practiced at asking questions and more confident. But most notably, my relationships completely changed. We often forget to ask the people closest to us the really big questions. When I asked my friends or my parents thoughtful things, they felt seen and validated and heard. I could see it in their face. And when I spoke to strangers, they were drawn to me. I could tell my questions lifted their spirits. It was then that I realized that questions are a superpower. They're our way in. So when I figured this out, I put that deck of 52 questions that Brianna is talking about together because I wanted everyone to experience this power. There's a reason that some of the most revolutionary companies in America are founded on the importance of questions. Eric Schmidt is the CEO of Google. He always says we run this company on questions, not answers. Apple trains their Genius Bar experts on the Socratic method, which is basically answering questions with questions. Google, Nike, Netflix, Airbnb, Amazon, all of their founders have spoken about their success, that it's been fueled by the ability to ask fundamental, game-changing questions. And we are so fortunate because questions are deeply ingrained in us. That's who we are as Jews. We're questioners. Our religion, our culture, we're guided by the spirit of curiosity. The Talmud itself is a book of questions. Its pages are filled with phrases like, from where do we derive these things? What does it teach us? And most importantly, and my favorite, why? What's the reason for this? The guru of relationships, John Gottman, says that couples are always making bids for each other's attention. So each bid presents an opportunity for the other individual to either turn towards and acknowledge the bid, or turn away and dismiss the bid. Successful couples turn towards the bid way more often than they turn away. Every time we ask a question, it's like a bid for connection. It's an invitation to move towards another person. What's the story behind your name? What was the happiest part of your day? Who did you meet that lit you up this week? What expert do you want lessons from? What trait do you value in yourself that came from your mom? Next time you want to show someone you really care, just think about asking them a question.
Beautiful.
We're going to turn to page 64. The Shema. Shema means listen. So as we sing this, together the declaration of our faith. Let's listen to the questions of our hearts. Page 64, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai בכל לבבך, בכל נפשך, ובכל מאודיך. היו, page 64.
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך,
ושיננת לבביך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך,
והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continue silently, some reflection time, page 65 through page 67. God, who is like you, Micha Mocha, page 69.
This is one of the oldest prayers we have. We traditionally say that it was written by the Jews after they crossed through the ocean, running away from Paro, running away from Pharaoh. It's all about courage, and sometimes it takes courage. I know, I've been married for many years. Sometimes asking those questions takes a little bit of courage too. So with that in mind, we'll sing about courage.
Courage, you're the only one. Courage, walking in the sun. Reaching in the dark to my heart. Courage, back to the start.
Elim Adonai, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, neder b'kodesh, mi kamocha. Courage, look me in the eye. Courage, show me what's inside. Not to hold too tight, to know I'll be alright. Courage to fail and shine, shine. Elim Adonai, mi kamocha. Mi kamocha, neder b'kodesh, mi kamocha. Breathing in and out, breathing in and out. breathing in and out, breathing in and out. Breathing in and out, breathing in and out. Should we try it once?
Sometimes you don't realize everything you're holding in until you ask someone to breathe it out. It's so beautiful. I'll try this spot too, Danielle. There's a conversation in the Midrash, which is ancient rabbinic text in which they continue to ask many questions, and they don't always find the answers, which is something I also happen to love. But in the Midrash, the question is asked, when Bnei Israel, when the children of Israel received the Torah from God, God thought for a moment, well, I'm giving this amazing gift. I'm giving you the Torah. So how do I know you're going to keep it? How do I know you're actually going to take these words and these commandments and these stories seriously? Where's my guarantee? And the children of Israel say, well, listen, we've got the patriarchs, right? We've got Abraham and Isaac. These are pretty big guys. That should be guarantee enough that we're going to keep the Torah. And God says, look, I've heard of the patriarchs. That's not good enough for me. I need something more. What's a stronger guarantee so I know you're going to take this seriously? And the people of Israel said, what about the prophets? That's a pretty long list. And God says, that's not good enough either. Finally, the people of Israel look to God and say, you know that we'll take the Torah seriously because we are going to offer our children as a guarantee. Our children will be the ones that hold on to the words of the Torah for eternity. And God says, because of your children, this gift is yours. And I love that line because what it says to us is everything we're doing right here. It's meaningful, it's important, but it's not for us. Every single thing that we take in, what we learn, what we breathe, what we bring home, what we put out into the world, we are planting seeds for generations to come. Every act, every word matters. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up tonight is because we started the evening speaking about joy, and we're in a synagogue, and it matters so much that we realize and internalize the joyless nights that are experienced in Ukraine at this very moment. And so I was trying to think, what can we do? First of all, you're going to hear what we can do. Rabbi Sherman will share that at the end, what we can do as a community. But what else can we do? And I thought to myself on Thursday or Wednesday, you have to feel this moment. You can't pretend that this isn't happening. Feel this so that generations to come will not live in ignorance. And so I wrote a poem for the children of Ukraine, and I wanted to share it tonight. We have three children. I do that a lot. We have three children. We are married, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And I was thinking about the 6-year-old when I wrote this. On one side of the world, a child wakes up, makes his breakfast, proudly dressing in his favorite red shirt, mismatched socks, and a baseball hat, growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child doesn't sleep, puts on headphones, drowning out gunshots ricocheting outside the window, tear-drenched pajamas and soiled sheets, growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child readies for school, ties his shoelaces, jams crayons and books in a bulging backpack, blue lunchbox, sliced apples, and a special treat, growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child readies to flee, ties his shoelaces, jams sweaters and a stuffed bunny in a bulging suitcase, pockets filled with Band-Aids and Tylenol and a bar of soap, growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child kisses his mother, laughing, giggling, pretending to wipe his cheek as he says goodbye. Growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child kisses his father, crying, pleading, placing father's cheek to child as he says goodbye. Growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child returns home, nestling closer, comforted by the warmth of his mother's embrace, retelling the day of teasing, learning, playing, and singing. Growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child can't return home. Comforts of bed and a father's embrace left only in the remnants of dreams. Retelling the day of running, hiding, crying, and praying. Growing older, growing up. On one side of the world, a child looks at the bright blue sky, determined to rush time, wondering how soon he can start growing older, how soon he can start growing up. And on one side of the world, a child looks at the bright blue sky, determined to stop time, wondering how soon he can stop growing older, how soon he can stop growing up. We are about to pray the Hashkivenu prayer, which is a prayer for peace. And I often hear as people leave Friday Night Live, oh, that was my favorite prayer. That's my favorite one. And I'm hopeful that we'll leave tonight not necessarily saying that was my favorite one, but that's the one where I truly prayed for peace for someone I don't know, someone on the other side of the world, a father, a mother, a child, someone who just perhaps can feel our prayers woven together, one by one. So tonight, they don't necessarily feel alone. Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום ואתה ואדוני. השיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים.
May the peace in the heavens be felt by anyone. Peace. Amen.
Amen.
Before we continue, Rabbi Sherman, do you want to share a little bit about what we can do? Otherwise, I'll forget to.
Everybody's been asking that question. What can we do? So last week, my friend Father Gill of St. Paul the Apostles, just a mile away, we've used their space during this crazy pandemic. He called and said, what are we doing to actually pray for the Jews of the Ukraine? And I said, I'm not sure, but we should. And so literally within hours, over these last 24 hours, over 20 faith organizations have come together saying we want to be together. Churches and synagogues and different faith organizations will be joining right here on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. It's open to the entire community. 2 Ukrainian churches, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church and the Ukrainian Catholic Church will also be joining, and I reached out to their priests, and they're asking for us to bring that evening as many as you can emergency medical kits, and on Wednesday we will be delivering to the Ukrainian churches, and immediately they will be delivering it across the ocean to the Ukraine to help. And so we ask that you join us on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. It's also online, but we're here in LA. It's meant for people in New York to watch. It's meant for people around the world to watch. But for us, it's meant to be here. Let's fill that sanctuary on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. You can sign up online or you can just show up. But please, tell your family, tell your friends, Jewish, not Jewish. It's time to be here. It's time to be together. It's time for people of faith to come together and to make and do action. Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. As we rise, when we do that action, we say La'ela Uli'ela, that our actions will lift us up higher and higher. Page
78.
78, La'ela.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה ולילה לילה ולילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה נחמתה דמיה בעלמא ואימו אמן. לילה ולילה לילה ולילה beyond any words, any song, any prayer that is whispered in this world and the next world and the next world and the next world. Leila. I open my eyes, open my heart, go beyond, go beyond, go beyond, go beyond, Leila.
Page 78 through page 90, moments of silent prayer and reflection in Hebrew or English or private thought. Page 78.
We start together at the top of page 79. Ah, na 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 na. Ya na 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 sfatai
תפתח.
Ya na 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 na
ופי יגיד.
Ufi yagi teilatecha Ya na 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 Adonai Ya na 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 sfatai tifta Ya na 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 Ufi yagi teilatecha Ya na 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 Adonai Ya na 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 sfatai tifta Ya na 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 Ufi yagi teilatecha Ya na 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 Ya na 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 sfatai tifta Ya na 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 Ufi yagi tehilatecha עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם שלום, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם שלום, סלאם שלום, סלאם שלום, סלאם שלום. Salam, shalom, salam, shalom, shalom, salam, shalom, salam, shalom,
Page 99, Aleinu.
Shabbat shalom. All right, try this with us. It goes like this. Hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. Hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. One more time. Hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. Oh. will come a day. There will come a day. There will come a day. Bayomau, 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 bayomau. Hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. Oh, hey, ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כאלוהי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים שחרים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא, 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 ביום
That's the one I go home singing. If you're in mourning or observing a yard site, please remain standing for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Are there any names to add to this evening for those who we are remembering? Yes. And also, of course, those lives lost in the Ukraine. We think of them and their families as well. Page 101, the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'alma divarach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimaru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulomei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudesha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'yimaru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. May God who brings peace unto heavens bring peace unto all those who mourn. Let us say, amen. You may be seated.
We usually do we've been doing the Stump the Band thing, and today we're going to try in something a little different. My day job is writing music for a couple of different shows, and at night I get to do this kind of stuff, which is awesome. And every once in a while, the two worlds sort of meet together. I got asked recently to help out on a show. I didn't really know what I was about to get into. But it turns out I've been meeting the sweetest, coolest people, and the whole show seems to have so much like love and you know, it seems like a real piece of art, and it's just awesome to be involved in it. And tonight, I have a really special guest, someone who's become my friend, Laura, who's going to join us for this song. In the show, Laura plays, I'm not sure how much of this I can say, but she's playing, it's someone who is or was a cantor, is a cantor. And we've been working on some songs together, some songs that will be sung in the show. This song also feels really fitting. It's a difficult song, even for people who don't play music every night for a living like most of us. And Laura, you've done that before, right? But that's not what you do these days. It's a difficult song, but we're working on it. We're going to have to play it at the end of the month in a real show. Not a service like this. It's kind of like art meeting life, imitating art. Laura, have I said enough? Have I babbled enough?
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. I just have to say thank you to the rabbis for allowing me to It's been joyous. All right.
Wow, that was really brave of you, Laura. I'm proud of you. And of course, I messed it up, after all of that.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. In August, yeah.
Me being one of them. Does this work? Okay. Really quickly, I just wanted to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone. It's so great to see all of you tonight. I wanted to thank our band, Duvid, our rabbis, Rabbi Sherman, Rabbi Guzik, and Chloe, and Zach, and Sasha, and Brock, and Kyle for being here, our crew. I've heard so many people say that even if they're watching online or here, they say, like, when Duvid sings, you smile because he sings with a smile. And I feel like we all feel that energy, and I feel my husband, who's here tonight too, has that contagious smile as well. And I feel like we're all kind of drawn to this smiley energy. Not to put him on the spot, but my grandmother is here tonight as well, who's great grandma to our son. And I'm just so thrilled to be spending Shabbat with all of you. Really quickly, I just want to mention that Passover is coming up. And so next month we won't be here for FNL, but on the second night of Passover, Rabbis Guzik and Sherman, who happen to live across the street and who have graciously opened their home on the second night of Passover for a Seder. If you're looking for somewhere to go, we would love to have you at our Seder. So please keep that in mind for the second night. But we will reconvene in May for another FNL. We'll be here. And then if you have an orange wristband, or if you came in late but would like to join us for dinner, you've registered for dinner, come see me. We're all going to go up to the 4th floor, take challah on your way out, and make sure you take a peek at the questions on your table, brought to you by Danielle Robay. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Brianna. I'm so impressed with everything you do, Brianna. And, we all feel so grateful for being able to come here and do this once a month with all of you. As musicians, we love playing with each other and praying with all of you and singing. So thank you. Maybe we'll sing a Pesach song since we're not going to be here on Pesach. Should we do that? All right. Die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, 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 no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no. Otsianu, otsianu, mimitzai, otsianu, mimitzai, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, die, no, die, no, die, no, die, 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 no. Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Test, test.
Rabbi Guzik spoke earlier about how our actions are really for the future and for our children and our children's children. And I think nothing is more fitting, and no one embodied those words better than Ted and Hetty Orden of blessed memory, who dedicated so much time and their resources to making sure that this service can continue. It was founded all the way back I read in the beginning of the Siddur, because what does an AT director do on the Friday before Friday Night Live is go through the Siddur. And 1998, actually, and Rabbi Guzik wrote this Siddur for this service, and on the first page it actually says this is the Siddur for the Ted and Hetty Orden Friday Night Live, and that is why we are here and why we continue to pray and grow and connect and love and sing. And so we are grateful always to them and to their families who have allowed us to continue to be together tonight. So let's all join in the Hamotzi together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Shalom.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Hey, hey. Yalai, lai, lai, lai. Yalai, lai, lai, lai. Yalai, lai, lai, lai. Yalai, lai, yalai, lo, lo. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.